And now DC is kind of rising to the cream. Oh, they're rising to the cream of the crop. Oh, you know. Hey everybody, Blake T. Wilde here, and welcome back to the Comic Schtick Podcast, the podcast where comics are my shtick. On this week, as you can tell in the title, Superman 2 has been announced, officially given a release date. Peacemaker Season 2 is out. I am still very tired for this whole past week from Tucson Comic-Con. That's just what happens in advanced age. But that was a, 3-day-long show, so that was Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, August 29th to the 31st. I was there, had a great time, had a very well-done time, I think, just for the table itself. Met a handful of YouTube subscribers and everything, stopped on by, so that was nice. And I sold out of The Custodians Agents of Cross, issue number 1. So unfortunately, for the time being, the only way you can get your hands on Custodians Agents of Cross is if you already own it. Or if you want to check it out online, you can buy the high-res PDFs on my Etsy shop. I believe it's still available on there. And on my Patreon, patreon.com/Smokey's videos, where I have uploaded all 3 of the first 3 issues on their high-resolution pages, and I even have, behind-the-scenes discussion, sort of commentary in each post as well that you can follow along with, see how I sort of came up with everything, and my overall thoughts on the series as we go. I'm still working away at issues 4 through 6. Issue 6, I don't know really what I'm going to do about, because it is roughly just under 70 pages long. Still going to be about $15, I think, depending. Who knows by the time when it comes out. It might be a couple bucks more, but we'll see. I'm going to try and keep it $15, but that final issue is going to be a big one. Just like how every issue is. Every issue of the Custodians Agents of Cross is well over 50 pages. So you're getting a lot of bang for your buck. But check that out if you're interested on there. Tucson Comic-Con. It was busier than I expected. Friday, it was pretty average. I'm pretty sure Friday they began at a later time. It was only about 5 hours. It was from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. So, it's a weekday, so it's Friday, not too much happening. Saturday was quite busy. From what I heard from the different vendors around me and overheard as I was walking around the show floor beforehand on Sunday, a fair amount of people didn't really have a good day on Saturday. Although a buddy of mine who had a table there, Max Planets, check him out on Instagram and online, great indie comic artist, fantastic work. I have this MF Doom artwork print that I bought from him last year at Tucson Comic-Con that I love and I still need to get framed. Apparently he did quite well on Saturday, so I don't know, maybe just the floor shifted where everybody was, what was going on, who knows what the causes were. But Sunday, good God, I think it might have been busier than it was Saturday. I did well both days, but it felt like I did better on Sunday? I don't know, I'm not sure. But holy shit, it was just it was bumper to bumper just about for the majority of the day. It was crazy. And I had a great time. The 2 tables beside us, they were very kind people. We were discussing, chatting with them during the show, conversing back and forth, blah, blah, blah. Very nice neighbors to have at the Artist Alley area. Tucson Comic-Con this past year, they expanded, so they went into this little side arena that I never knew existed before. That's where they had all of the celebrities. Unfortunately, because they did that, it meant that we were no longer next to the celebrities. The past 2 years, we were located pretty much right there next to all the celebrity signing booths, so we got to watch that interesting show every year. But this year, Kevin Eastman was there, so it was packed for him. Other people were there. I don't remember who. This is the first year I didn't buy anything or like a photo of me getting punched by a celebrity like I did the past 2 years. But it was a good show, and it's proven something to myself in that I now feel comfortable in the fact I did well enough. I did make a profit. I think I've made a profit at just about every convention I've gone to. Luckily, I'm very lucky in that. It's not always, no, it wasn't always a huge profit that was made, but I did typically make a profit. And I am now going to be applying to Phoenix Comic-Con, or Phoenix Fan Fusion, as they were forced to relabel after some legal issues with San Diego. But, yeah, I'm going to be applying for that for 2026. From what I've heard, it's about $500 for the table, but I think there was like 130,000 people attended Phoenix Comic-Con, maybe. Is that what I saw? I can't remember. I looked it up this morning, but I can't remember the number. So, you know, a far bigger population than the Tucson one, or especially the YumaCon one that I'm also going to be going to in a couple months. So I think I should be able to do quite well. And by that time, it's every summer, May, maybe? I'm hoping to have at least issue 4 and possibly issue 5 of the Custodians Agents of Cross done and fully published and printed. Like I said, issue 6, it might take me an extra minute to find a place to print it because the typical printing house that I go through, Mix'em, they don't have that listed on their website just to go. So I'm gonna have to get a custom quote on what a 70-something or possibly 70 page or just under 70 page, wherever the lines up for the page numbers, layout looks like price-wise. So we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, so if you're interested, hey, I might be attending Phoenix Fan Fusion next year somewhere within the Artist Alley. So that should hopefully open up the doors. Maybe, I don't know how many viewers I have in Arizona or Phoenix, but it's probably more than Tucson if I do. So there you go, a major city. If you're going to Phoenix Fan Fusion, I will hopefully be there. I'm really hoping I'm there next year. But yeah, had a great time, tiring time. Every convention I go to, I don't really eat or drink that much until my wife forces me to eat or drink. Because if that happens, then you're taking time away from interacting with possible customers and people looking at your goods and services and your wares and whatever it is you're selling. And I do $5 head sketches as well. It's a big draw to get people to take a look at my stuff. I'll draw a quick $5 sketch of any character of your choice. Sketches are also included with the purchase of any comic online. That is usually what I wind up doing quite a bit. That, or I'll sometimes get, commission work as well. Just original art pieces to draw there, so that might take up some time. But I'm still, even as I'm drawing, I'm still shouting out to people and having conversations, doing my sales pitch, everything. So Saturday was the first time I had done it in, since February, when we went to Arizona Comic Arts Festival. And man, it got me on Monday. All 3 days caught up to me. I did eat some and drank a fair amount of water, and root beer. Oh my god, the root beer. Oh, they have a fucking Wild Bill's root beer stand is there every year. We always get a big mug of that. But yeah, it all just fucking hit me like a cement truck on Monday, Labor Day. And thank fucking God I got to sleep in like an hour or so that helped me out a little bit. But I am still feeling it. And then the next day, we did some stuff in Tucson. We drove back. Then the following day on Tuesday, I had to get to work about 5 in the morning or so. And I'm still just so tired. I'm just constantly tired every day. Needless to say, Tucson Comic-Con was a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to next year's. I'm looking forward to expanding my range, my tentacle octopusian range of of outreach, like that World War II, or is it World War One propaganda poster of the octopus expanding its tentacles out. So yeah, I don't really know. I'm rambling. I'm rambling a lot if you can't tell. Let's get right into things now that I'm done with that. So, starting it off with some actual comics discussion that isn't Marvel or DC. And that is this insanity. Archie Comics is going to cross over with Army of Darkness. Now, Archie Comics has crossed over with some crazy stories before in the past. They've done The Punisher, The Predator, Sabrina, I guess. There's that zombie one. But this is the most absurd of them all. This also comes off the heels, seemingly, of fairly recent crossover events. Archie meets Jay and Silent Bob, and Archie versus Minor Threats, which is still currently releasing. Minor Threats is that Patton Oswalt independent comic that everybody is raving about. I still haven't read it yet. But the little write-up is as follows. Ash Williams has seen it all. Demonic forces, time travel, monstrous doppelgangers. But Ash might be in for his toughest battle yet, fighting a horde of deadites alongside a group of teenagers. Thankfully, Archie and his friends are no strangers to the undead, and we couldn't be more excited for everyone to see what madness will ensue when these two horror icons collide. What? Hold on. Who in their right fucking mind is referring to anything Archie related as a horror icon? Even Sabrina, I feel like it's pushing it. And does that mean that all of these crossovers are taking place in the same Archie world? Because it says that, you know, he and his friends are no strangers to the undead, implying that that's Sabrina, the teenage witch one, I guess is in canon, where she accidentally makes them all zombies or whatever it is that happens. I feel like in my mind I might be confusing it with that episode of The Simpsons where they accidentally bring back the zombies. But the most shocking thing about this, I think, I'm definitely going to have to pick this one up when it goes on sale. This is the Archie crossover that I need. But the most crazy thing about all of it, about the fact that Archie and Jughead and Betty and Veronica and all the others are going to be, like, possessed by deadites. Also, deadites aren't really undead. Some of them are, I guess, especially if it's the Army of Darkness, but they're more demonically possessed, or whatever. The most shocking thing, let me try this again, is that I can't believe that Dynamite still has the fucking rights to Army of Darkness / Evil Dead. It's such a weird rights issue, the whole Army of Darkness, Evil Dead bullshit. Because that's the whole reason why, like, they couldn't have the store in the Ash vs. Evil Dead show being S-Mart, which, I mean, like, you can headcanon it to being like, oh yeah, S-Mart, shop smart, shop S-Mart, got bought out by some other company and now it's rebranded, but it's the same store, blah, blah, blah. And Ash has just still been working there. But it's such a mess. I'm looking forward to seeing what else happens, because I don't think that we're going to be getting too many original Archie stories outside of those reworkings of, like, the comics that they're making that I discussed last episode. That's crazy, right? Like, have I discussed Archie at all? In any episode of this podcast? And now we go 2 weeks back to back, and I've discussed Archie Comics news. Moving on to the MCU, Marvel Animation's Marvel Zombies released their first official trailer after several years of work, seemingly. And it has Baby Metal playing, and it looks wicked. It looks really cool. I like it. I'm excited for it. I think that the animation kind of looks more appeasing than, like, the Eyes of Wakanda or What If, but I feel like that might be due to the fact that they are just reanimated corpses, and that's kind of how all the characters move. I'm not a fan. Not that big of a fan of, like, that. I can't remember what did I say it looked like. It looks like very early era Star Wars Rebels animation. Or like Star Wars Clone Wars animation, where it's all sort of flowy, but also very stiff at the same time, you know? Looks good. September 24th, it's releasing. Seemingly all 4 episodes are coming out at the same time. I wish that they would have released it in October, like they originally were, but then they pushed it up. I can only assume that that means... do we know when Wonder Man is releasing? I'm going to use my one Google. I'm going to use my one Google to find out. Because is Wonder Man... Okay, Wonder Man's coming out in December, so that's odd. So why... Well, I guess, never mind. I was going to say, did they push Wonder Man up to, like, October, November? But no, there's just going to be 2 months in between. I guess they want to have that length of time. But Eyes of Wakanda just came out, like, a month ago, didn't it? So I don't know. I don't know why. What reasoning would Marvel have had to have pushed this up? I don't know. I don't know. Like, even just a couple more days. Like, just push it, like, just if it was, like, a week after the 24th, you know, in October, I would have been fine with it. It's just something about the fact that a show called Marvel Zombies, which is rated TVMA, and has a bunch of swears, is releasing in September. It just feels wrong, right? But it looks very good. It looks entertaining. It's apparently in the same universe as the... Well, no, I don't think it is. Is it? Is it in the same universe as the What If episode? Because we see Thanos show up in that. And what happens? He gets bisected or something, right? Like, doesn't he get lasered in half or whatever? But he's in this. I'm fine either way. I think it would be a bit more interesting if they were like, oh yeah, no, it's a different universe, blah, 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 who gives a shit? Because also Spider-Man was supposed to have, like, the cloak of levitation or something, right? And he doesn't have that in this trailer. So, honestly, I think I would prefer if it was its own thing and not tied into that show that I only watched one season of. The biggest thing that I want to note is that Black Panther is missing his goddamn leg in the trailer. You don't see it that quickly, or you don't see it very much. You see it very quickly is what I meant to say. Very tired. But if you've read the comic, if you've watched my YouTube video on it, which it's likely you have, it's my most viewed video, then you'll know that Black Panther was kidnapped by Giant Man and feasted upon. And Hank Pym is like, oh, no, I'm so sorry to do this, T'Challa. Trust me, as he's, like, cutting pieces off of his body. Trust me, once I figure out how to cure this whole zombie thing, then I'll stop eating you. But I need human flesh. I need the meat. I need to eat. And then it clears the fog of my head, and I can focus on getting this done. It's like me when I get a bag of sour gummy bears. I'm like, okay, I'll just have a couple, and then I'll get back to work on something. But it's right there, and I'll just grab a little more. That's pretty much the gist. And seemingly T'Challa has once again been kidnapped and turned into a little midnight snack for some kind of zombie. Because I feel like it would be weird if they amputated his fucking leg, right? If he just got normally bitten and they're like, oh, well, chop. Like, he's got to have been kidnapped by somebody. I don't know who it could be. Maybe Tony Stark? What if... Who? What if the Marvel Zombies universe, it's not related to the What If one, and since it's not related to the What If one, that could mean that they could also have the Fantastic Four in this universe. What if, like, that's a big reason why it was pushed back so long, is because, like, well, we want to have some more different aspects than just the normal MCU universe. What if we push it back, we hold off on it a little longer until some more movies and media is released, and then we can have those characters as well version? Is that a thing, maybe? Could that have been a possibility? Maybe they're releasing it early because they want to keep the idea of like a Fantastic Four in the public's mind. Maybe the zombie Fantastic Four appear in this, and it's not Pedro Pascal at all because they couldn't afford him. It's somebody that kind of sounds like him. It's Patrick Pascal. That would be pretty cool. I really hope it's something like that, where it's just not connected to the dumb What If show. One final bit of MCU news is that Gambit is not going to be full Cajun with his accent. Russo brothers, quote, want to keep the drama and not be fully Deadpool, Channing Tatum says. Which is weird, right? Because, duh. Like, no shit. Who in their right mind was watching Deadpool and Wolverine and being like, yep, that's how a normal person sounds. That's not at all played up for a comedic effect, even though the whole joke is that none of the characters can understand him because he's pretty much Boomhauer from King of the Hill. Like, no, duh! And this is coming from somebody who thinks that Channing Tatum actually did a wonderful job as Gambit. I had my thoughts and worries ever since it was announced like 15 years ago that he was going to be Gambit in a Gambit movie. I was like, no fucking way that works. And then he shows up in Deadpool and Wolverine, and he's just a fast-talking idiot who can play cards well. And I was like, yep. That can work. He fucking did a phenomenal job, and I'm looking forward to seeing him play an actual character and not a walking joke in a trench coat. Moving on. DCU news. I'm glad that it's finally, the letters have lined up. For a while there, we were stuck with DCEU. We were stuck with the SPUM. Remember SPUM? Now it's just DCU MCU. One day the SPUM will return. So CLAYFACE is currently in the midst of filming. If you're online a lot like I am, you'll probably see plenty of behind-the-scenes footage and stuff posted from people nearby on sets because they are filming it in the middle of an actual city. The CLAYFACE character is Matt Hagen, seemingly, as far as I can still tell, until it's proven otherwise, I'm pretty sure it is the CLAYFACE that is in Creature Commandos. Because I saw more stuff that I'll discuss in a moment this morning regarding the filming of CLAYFACE. But then, the obvious question crossed my mind, are those two the same characters? Seemingly, yeah. I assume it's never going to change. There, of course, are multiple CLAYFACEs. Oh, no. Oh, wait a minute. CLAYFACEs, I guess. CLAYFACE? CLAYFACEs in the comics. There's 7 of them. But I don't know if that would work in the DCU. Right? Is that too much of a comic book aspect idea to be oh yeah, CLAYFACE was in Creature Commandos, but that's a different CLAYFACE. That's another man who had the exact same thing happen to him, almost. Although, at the same time, you got the Flash, and then you got the other Flash. Barry Allen, Wally West, so I guess it's not that big of a draw to ask audiences to believe in that. But, if you believe like I do, that the reason that the Flashes are different is because Wally West is actually a scientific Flash, whereas Barry Allen Flash was concocted by a fifth-dimensional imp named Mopey, and that's why he could not connect to the Speed Force and whatever the fuck happened. Then it's not that big of a deal. But anyway, I think it makes most sense that, obviously this is an origin story. CLAYFACE, Matt Hagen, played by Tom Rees-Harries. If you haven't seen it, they've posted some leaked images. His face is all fucked up. He's wearing a plastic sort of Phantom of the Opera mask-esque thing. His face is melting. It looks like there's a big lawsuit that is going on as well, or something that's taking place. It's obviously set in Gotham, and more obvious, it's an origin to his story. So it 100% makes sense that CLAYFACE in CLAYFACE is the same CLAYFACE that's in Creature Commandos, who died? Did he die? Can CLAYFACE die? Doesn't have a brain, or does he? Does he have a how does Clayface work just on a physiological level? What is going on in there, right? Like, he has teeth sometimes, so what does that mean? Are those teeth, is it like Venom's teeth? Venom's teeth is something that has always plagued me, and I've brought it up several times in my videos. Too many questions. It's set in Gotham, a $40 million budget, but what was leaked today is some footage showing Tom Reese-Harry's dancing and like moving about with a hard light flashing up on him on some stairs that kind of resemble like a city hall or something. There's like, you know, the columns on the top and the stone stairs falling down, and his shadow is cast behind him. And seemingly, this is going to be a moment in the film where he is learning to control his powers. He's coming under control of them. He already knows how to use it or something. And he's going to be shape-shifting off camera because it is a $40 million budget. But the other leak thing is someone going around with a cardboard cutout of Nosferatu and draping the shadow far against everything behind them from the harsh light that's cast down. So the overall consensus seems to be that this is going to be, you know, Clayface transforming into, like, well-known characters or movie characters and whatnot. He's going to be Nosferatu. He'll probably transform into Batman. I can see that. It's just going to be a silhouette with a cape flowing, and the ears are going to pop up, and we'll finally... Well, no, I guess we did see Batman and Creature Commandos. We'll get a better length estimate of his ears. Who else could they do? Ultra Humanite, obviously. I was gonna say Mickey Mouse, but they're not. They're not gonna have him turn into Mickey Mouse. Bugs Bunny. There you go. That's what his fucking name is. So I'm honestly very excited for this. I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be really cool to see a theatrically released Clayface movie. But what I'm even more excited for is Man of Tomorrow, the official title, seemingly, of Superman 2, set to release in theaters July 9th, 2027. How fucking incredible is it that we have entered a Superman-assance? We've gone years with shitty Zack Snyder Superman, if you can even call him that. And suddenly, we now have a Superman that has resonated with more audiences than any depiction of the character in the past 20 years, and has been met with critical acclaim and reception. We just got Superman. We're getting Supergirl next year. And then we're getting Superman 2 the following year. Fantastic. Meanwhile, it's interesting because on the other side of the flipping fish is Marvel Studios, who are in the public perception at least rolling over to what DC Studios and the DCEU was since its inception, which is they releasing stuff that the public seemingly is dying an interest in. It's interesting just how much of a flip has kind of occurred in such a short amount of time, you know? Public perception and trust in the MCU is faltering. And they're quickly jumping to the work boats and trying to figure out how they can fish themselves out of the mess that they have fallen into after, you know, they signed a contract with a man who was a domestic abuser and have to rework their entire structure for their overall multimedia storytelling complex. And now DC is kind of rising to the cream. Oh, they're rising to the cream of the crop. Oh, you know. But good lord, it is a fantastic time to be alive for a fan of comics, for a fan of comic book movies, and I'm loving every second of it, baby, because I still love the MCU. Shocker, right? And guess what? I fucking love the DCU and everything that James Gunn and everyone working there is doing. It's even though David Zaslav, the human thumb that he is in charge of it, James Gunn and Peter Safran give me hope. So James Gunn, David Corenswet, and Nicholas Hoult have all shared new artwork created specifically for this announcement. Jim Lee did a piece of Lex in a power suit with Superman leaning over on him with a screwdriver. Jorge Jimenez, the hunkiest man in all of comics, has drawn Lex and Superman posing beside one another, sort of in a battle-ready position. And Mitch Gerards, I've never heard anybody say his name, has drawn Superman and Lex fighting each other. So is this telling us a story of what might be occurring, or is this just saying, hey, look, they're both coming back. They're both going to be big aspects of this story. Is it going to be something? Are we finally going to get Brainiac in this? Are we going to get Brainiac showing up? Luthor's involved somehow. He and Superman have to team up together. Luthor gets the upper hand, I guess, and then they fight a little bit. And it's seemingly he's going to have the battle suit, so that'll be really cool to see. James Gunn posted on Threads just about an hour ago because James Gunn is the only notification that I get from Threads. I'll get it every often, somebody who likes a post or reposts something I did. But everything else, it's always a James Gunn. He's the only thing I get from that app. And I don't know why. It's ever since I fucking installed it, it's only been him. Anyway, he posted in reply to someone asking how much of the writing is done on Man of Tomorrow, saying, all of it, just in the necessary and lengthy stage of rewriting and rewriting some more. It's been a lot of fun. Trying to get some done now before Peacemaker airs because we like to watch it as soon as it comes out. So he has already written this. This is what they were discussing in the past couple weeks, where they're like, oh, James Gunn has worked on the new Super Family thing. It was Superman 2. This is seemingly what overtook him from his obvious interest in writing a Authority film. It all lines up. He was going to be, well, they never officially said he was going to be writing it, but it's pretty goddamn obvious, even when in an interview he reveals that he was writing the Authority script, and then he quickly reworks his sentence and phrasing to be like, oh, well, the writer, and then the interviewer just doesn't bring it up. But seemingly he just enjoyed these characters, connected so much with it, and that's such a beautiful thing to see for a storyteller. It's just, there's always gonna be that character or those characters that you just love to write, you love to enter them into situations and just see what happens and just jot everything down like you're some kind of pseudo-imaginative anthropologist who is witnessing these events in your mind and transcribing them for others to witness. And I just love that so much. I love James Gunn. I love everything he's done. I think he has a great work ethic and a great workflow. Seemingly everybody loves working with him, too. He just seems like a cool dude. And he has white hair, so he's kind of like Santa in a way. He's like Santa, I guess. But also, there's seemingly going to be a new star added to Man of Tomorrow. Because on Isabella Merced's Instagram post regarding Man of Tomorrow, Aaron Pierre, who is going to be playing Jon Stewart in the Lanterns TV show, which I believe is either filming or is going to be starting filming sometime soon, he made a comment which was, I can't remember if he said it or if she said it, but the gist of it was, see you soon, as in, hey, what's going on here? These characters are going to be in the same fucking movie. So seemingly Jon Stewart, Green Lantern, is going to at least be one of the main carryovers from the Lanterns television show, which I'm very excited for. I can see Hal Jordan being sort of cast back and being sent off-world, being sent back to Oa to take care of things. If they ever want to do Parallax, they can do that. But I think Hal Jordan is going to take a back seat, and Jon Stewart is going to be a more focused upon Green Lantern. Definitely a more popular Green Lantern than Guy Gardner, especially for the public. But why wouldn't they do that? Because if you're like me, then you were a big fan of the DCAU when it came out. And that age range is going to be about a couple years younger than me to a handful of years older than myself, within that perfect range. However old the DCAU Watchtower guys are to my age is kind of what it is. So why would you not get some nostalgia factor from nerds like myself who loved the Justice League cartoon show, loved Jon Stewart and his role in that feature, and bring him forth into the DCU. And hey, it would be really cool to have a main character who is black, who is a stoic, I guess. I don't know what the characterization is going to be. Usually he's stoic. A prideful and caring and stoic character who is a badass, sometimes architect who was in the military, named Jon Stewart. You can even get crazy and adapt Green Lantern Mosaic. You know, that one. By that one writer, remember? But I hope that is what they're doing, because I would love to see Jon Stewart in the DCU. I wonder if they're going to do him bald, or if he's going to have that sort of like the fade cut. That's what I want to know. What kind of hairstyle are they going to give him? I wonder. All right, now let's finally discuss Peacemaker Episode 2. Peacemaker Episode 2, something about the bird that a man carries or something. I can't remember what the title was. I just finally watched it yesterday. The audio commentary is up and available on my Patreon. Patreon.com/Smokey'sVideos. If you wanted to follow along with the entire episode, you can also check out the little highlight reel that I posted on the YouTube channel, Smokey's Comic Vault, as well. To see some stuff there. I really loved just how much of a handbrake pull it was that they just totally reversed it from what the first episode was carrying. The first episode was boisterous, it was exciting, it was jam-packed, it was loud. But this one, it's soft and it's quiet and it's somber and it's emotional. And I loved that. I loved it. There's ethos in this episode that wasn't really present or just hinted at in the first one. And before I really get into discussion, can I just talk about how much I love this intro for Season 2? So the intro of Season 2 of Peacemaker, as I made on a very controversial YouTube short that I was getting some hate for, is better than Season 1. It is so much better, and I will die on this hill. And I didn't really get it through in that short or that little scene because I was doing a gag where I was talking about how cool it is as I'm dancing along to it and I'm speaking to the camera. So I'm focused on 3 different things at once, so I didn't really convey myself that much. But I truly love it because of the emotion in it. It's a beautiful sub-story that is in just the intro alone that really was not that present in the first season's intro. And first of all, what an incredible show, right? That I'm even having this discussion about what the intro is like. Just to get that off of the ground floor immediately. How fantastic is it that something as low stakes, really, as the intro of a television show has brought about this much discourse and love towards it. But I truly believe that it is far better than the first season, from the set design to the choreography, and more importantly, to the emotional connection and the drama that is being told through this interpretive dance alone. It's ingenious, and it really signifies just what the core element of this season of Peacemaker is going to be. And I discussed this more at length on my Patreon post with the audio commentary. So check that out again if you're interested, patreon.com/Smokey'sVideos. But each character have these walls set up around them. And even though they act like they're friends, they're nothing more than just like 9-to-5 workaday buddies. They don't truly connect with each other. And that's what this whole season is clearly, I think, building up to, is that connection with humanity, with your fellow people, with your friends and your loved ones and your family and your found family, not just your blood relatives, because blood relation truly, in my mind, means nothing if the people are not good to you. You have no dedication to a blood relative if they are a terrible person. I'm sorry to say it. But that is really what I'm excited to see the most, is the story that everyone can relate to, no matter what medium it's being told in, and that is finding your place in life, finding purpose, and finding others to share your life with, share this experience of existing. And we see that in the intro, which is all about human connection. Peacemaker is almost constantly alone in his own dance sequence as the others surround him. He connects with Harcourt, but there's that, I love the beautiful emotion of it as they come together and embrace, and she does like the hand slide or whatever, and then they split apart, but it's so well done. And then we get the veritable interruption by Argus and Rick Flag Sr., who is someone who has lost a connection in the world and truly is empty now. You can see it in Frank Grillo's wonderful acting. In the second episode, just how tired he is, how exhausted he is. His cold, sullen face when he is telling economists that he wants the files on his son's death. And then following that, we get another connection with Harcourt and Peacemaker. She runs and leaps to his arms, and he does like the lift and spin, which is again interrupted by the alternate reality versions of Harcourt and Augie and Keith. And that's a growing connection. That's a possibility. That is the Peacemaker, when she runs to him, when Harcourt runs to Peacemaker in the intro, they don't embrace. Not like they did at the beginning, very briefly. No matter how briefly they did, they still connected and embraced. Instead, she leaps and he hoists her upon his shoulder, above her, away from him, above himself. And she valiantly soars above, because she is someone who cannot accept the fact that she needs help. And in a way that is Peacemaker he literally lifts her up emotionally and physically, and there's that connection there. But she refuses to really accept it, and we see that in episode 2, where that woman's like, hey, domestic abuse, blah, 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 and Harcourt's like, bitch, fuck off, I got into a bar fight. I'm not a mirror. Shut the hell up. And she screams at this woman and everybody else in the store, and she just refuses to be in any way vulnerable. And it makes sense depending on, everything that she's pretty much, done, the workforce that she's been in, the military, Argus, all these black ops projects and everything, that she would be that way. But then we get the most beautiful point of all, which is the close-up where they get right in each other's faces, they connect, they look into each other's eyes. And Peacemaker, he almost goes in for like a kiss, but they do the forehead touch. She turns her head down and away from him. She still cannot accept, or does not want to accept, or refuses to, that connection. And what happens right after this? They split apart and are interrupted, like I said, by the alternate reality characters who come in and dance and make a big show. Look how cool they are. They're spinning. They're kicking their heels together. They're doing all of this. But then we once again return to the big choreography number of everybody together, and they're all still alone. They are all still alone. They're all still dancing. They might be in sync with one another, because that is the weakest connection of all, is that, hey, we get beers every Tuesday or something. It's like I said, it's like a 9-to-5 work buddy relationship. But it all ends it all comes together to a close, to be everyone comedically piling atop each other, but it does end with everyone coming together, and that's truly what I think this series is going to be. They're not yet La Familia, not like the Fast and the Furious family, but I think that they're gonna get there. And that is why I truly love Peacemaker Season 2 intro so much, is because it is about human connection. And that is such an overarching element of just about everything that James Gunn has done, really, since the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie. There has always been this story, this plot line, this idea form, that connection is what gets us through life. Connection is how we persevere. It is how we cope with darknesses in reality and real life, is through love and compassion and empathy and coming together. But hey, Wigwam is pretty funny. Do you want to taste it? And honestly, I don't really have too much else to say. I really got it through, I think, just with the discussion of the intro. Like I said, I did a little more of a write-up on the Patreon, but I don't want to read that off because that kind of defeats the purpose. But I truly think that this episode, even though I have less to say about it, I do like it more because of these aspects of it. Because we're seeing more depth in the character. Of not just John Cena's Peacemaker, Christopher Smith, but also Harcourt, Adebayo, Economist, even Adrian is getting something to do. He expresses himself in a weird way, and it's comedic and played for laughs, but it's still him attempting to, like, have a real connection with Chris. And, it's when he's talking about, like, having sex, and sex is, like, how you connect with your friends. Which, they did in the first season. They had a three-way with that one woman in the apartment. But everyone is just working to try to make something meaningful of their lives in twisted ways. And that is such a James Gunn sort of story element. That's another one of them. That's the reason that I always love his work so much, is because of that. It's just such a beautiful sentiment. And I really am looking forward to watching the next episode. So, hey, if you're interested, check out the highlight reel when that goes up, probably sometime today as you're watching this. Or also check out my Patreon, patreon.com/Smokey'sVideos, where you can listen to all 3 episodes of the Peacemaker and my audio commentary and read my discussions and whatnot. I'm also doing other commentary stuff on there. I'm revisiting the MCU. We just watched Captain America, First Avenger last week. That was fantastic. So now probably next week I'm going to be releasing the Avengers commentary track, and that is going to be a lot of fun because I haven't watched the Avengers since well before Infinity War came out. It's been quite a while. As you can tell, this is the wrap-up, this is the ending, this is the closing thoughts. Let me know what you thought of this episode in the comments below. Let me know what your thoughts are on all the topics we discussed. What are your thoughts and feelings on Archie and Evil Dead? Or Army of Darkness, whatever. You excited for Marvel Zombies and more Doomsday, Avengers Doomsday shenanigans? But more importantly, really, I am falling into the DC hole. I love Marvel Comics. I love comics in general. But now that DC is finally releasing good stuff, I'm so excited. I'm so excited for Clayface. I'm so excited for Man of Tomorrow. I'm so excited for Lanterns and Jon Stewart maybe being in season 2. Or what am I trying to say? Superman 2, Man of Tomorrow. And I cannot wait to see season 3 of Peacemaker, which will seemingly majority take place in that alternate reality. Spoiler alert. Let me know what you thought in the comments below, and I will see you next time Oh, before I almost forgot, don't forget to check out my other stuff, like my Etsy shop, blaketwild.etsy.com, and follow me online at NotBlakeWild. And all my links are in the descriptions of the podcasts as well. And check out my other podcasts, I Need Some Disney, where my Disney-obsessed wife and I discuss all things Disney. And the first episode of, there's a podcast in the Percolator, a Twin Peaks podcast that we really need to get back into. So I will see you all next week for probably some more Savage Dragon discussion. Definitely another discussion on Peacemaker. And whatever else really arises, I suppose. Hey, maybe Marvel's doing a dumb event that I won't care about that I'll make fun of again. Bye.